Black Supremacy is Nattyisisyah. Yes, I'm making this video in the dark. In this video, I wanted to talk about the bourgeoisie in the Black community, and of course, in particular, the conscious community, because the conscious community is where a lot of us has come to escape from being sucked into the mindset of becoming a Black bourgeoisie, and the Black conscious community is where we came to get a space to expand our consciousness and to expand our interpersonal development and our collective growth into a more Black nationalist collective, whereby we were not compelled to become a sheep in the system, and we were not compelled to not explore and expand upon other aspects of our divinity, such as our spirituality, our culture, and expressing ourselves as we saw fit, where we know that white supremacy and the various facets of business and the culture of white supremacy would not permit and would not allow, yet it would be necessary for us to conform if we wanted to progress and proceed into white supremacy. Now, the bourgeoisie in the Black conscious community would have us believe that we can indeed become both. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can be successful in white supremacy and at the same time do the things that we identified that white supremacy hindered us from fully experiencing and growing and manifesting in. But the bourgeoisie, in their quest and their greed for money and fame, popularity, and to become like the white supremacists that they lust after, the bourgeoisie would have us believe that we should not only support them in their endeavors to accumulate credentials in white supremacy, wealth in white supremacy, accolades, and all of the trinkets and perks that go along with it, that we should support them and that we also should strive to be like them. They don't really mean the second part. They definitely don't really want us to become a competing force with them, with coming from the same, especially coming from the same background of being conscious of exploring other dimensions of your mind and other aspects of your soul and yourself, and tapping into the Akashic records and the realm of the Ogun, and bringing back that knowledge and bringing back that wisdom and that ancient force, bringing that back into the field of competing with not only your brother, but with the white man. They don't really want you to compete with them in that aspect. And there is not very much room to grow with the Black bourgeoisie in the conscious community, because they are bent on self-aggrandization and wealth for them and their family at the expense of even those in the Black conscious community who helped them to get where they are and who they sought support from. So you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of the bourgeoisie in the conscious community? How is this bourgeoisie really benefiting the Black conscious community? You know, why are we preoccupying ourselves with the mundanity of wealth and finances? Why does that become the predominant focus above all other things, above finding alternative sources of energy, above dealing with our social issues, above dealing with political issues, above dealing with health, hygiene, parenting, family, raise alternative methods to raising your family and alternative methods to gaining economics or gaining wealth? Why does the system, the old system of white supremacy gain precedent over us growing and creating our own Black nationalistic, Black supreme values for ourselves? Why does watching a basketball game become the topic of suggestion for those who have tapped into their selves and their souls, who have sought to heal themselves, who have sought to expand in their wisdom and intuition, and who have gone beyond the mundanity, the pettiness, the greed, the lust, and all things which hinder us from not being tied down mentally, emotionally, physically by a system that rejected us, and that ourself we rejected. Why now is something as simple as a vehicle or a house, why does that become something to be aspired when we should really be aspiring to grow and develop fully? Why is it that something like a childhood fantasy becomes something that a grown man or a grown woman feels that they need to manifest or that they need to experience, when it was nothing but a childhood fantasy, a collective of propaganda tactics and mechanisms used by the enemy, white supremacy itself, to distract you from your complete, total spiritual growth, and to ship you and corral you into the quest for happiness in white supremacy, the illusion of becoming equal, and the illusion of grandeur. Why is it that as a conscious individual and a conscious being, that some of you are still captivated and fooled and drawn into wanting to not only relive your own childhood fantasies, but to take on the childhood fantasies of others who we cannot even validate or confirm whether indeed these are childhood fantasies, or whether this is a continued propaganda tactic of the racism and white supremacy to further perpetuate their arm and extend it into the Black conscious community, into your consciousness and into your mind and your soul, to curve you from where it is that the universe is taking you, that money and fame and bling and materialistic goods cannot do. We have so much more work to do than to aspire to earn some finances to hand over to the white man for trinkets just because they cost thousands of dollars to impress the very people that you don't like, and the very people that you're trying to get away from, and the very people that you speak against. It's such a contradiction. It's such blatant exposure of being a bourgeoisie wannabe, not even the real thing. Because true bourgeoisie have allegiance to their parents. The true bourgeoisie has allegiance to white supremacy. The black conscious bourgeoisie does not have any allegiance to the black conscious community, the black revolutionary conscious community. The black bourgeoisie is out for self. And you will see more and more black bourgeoisie exposing themselves. And more, it will become necessary for you to start to identify these black bourgeoisie and to stop them in their tracks. And it's rather a task for those of you who are preoccupied yourselves in white supremacy and who are not fully expanding on your self-development and your self-growth outside of the matrix. That task will be almost insurmountable for many of you, because you will literally have to walk away to even see the difference. You will literally have to walk away from white supremacy and the greed that comes with it to see the value outside of it. You cannot see the value outside of white supremacy if you are lusting after white supremacy. So in order to even stop it, or in order to curb it, or to show your own brothers and sisters why more natural, more cultural, and more original ways of living, thriving, and manifesting your destiny is important, you will of course have to walk away from white supremacy and live that life outside of it. And you also will have to have a deep love for your people. That would have to be you. That is where they have a childhood fantasy to go to Disneyland and to live like a cartoon superhero. Your desire and your goal will have to be, or will be synonymous with, being a black leader, deeply in love with the people that you wish to lead and to serve, and to lead them out of white supremacy. You will have to want to see better for your people, not just better for your family, not just seeing that your family is eating $300 meals a night, or $30 plates a night, or going to Whole Foods, or shopping at the most expensive organic food store. You will have to, if you want that for yourself, have to have a way that works, and not only have a way that works for others, but you will have to have a way that where it does not, money is not a determining factor in whether your family eats or not. That means you're definitely going to have to find alternative ways of living, and they will have to be replicated, be able to be replicated easily. You don't have to expose all this online, but if you expose that the way that you do it online is that you are valuing money and chasing after a dollar bill, then you're pretty much making it evident that you don't have any alternative ways for yourself, for your family, or the black people in general. So you will have to be open to alternative ways of living. And with that said, with the state that our people are in, where is there room for a black bourgeoisie? Where is there room for flying in and out of state to state and not really being able to show people how they can immediately replicate what it is that you are doing. Black nationality, Black supremacy is immediately replicatable. Something that can be done in any city, anywhere, no matter what your finances are, no matter who your associations or your political goals or affiliations. Black supremacy is your innate being, and it's what drives you to survive and succeed outside of white supremacy, despite all odds and against everything. So you again have to question, with the state that Black people are in, where is there room for the Black bourgeois? What is the Black bourgeoisie doing for you? They're accumulating wealth, and they're pretty much following after the white bourgeoisie or the white supremacy bourgeoisie, which of course will include Black people in the white supremacy bourgeoisie. But the Black conscious bourgeoisie are selling us information that they claim we need. They are selling us information that is free. They are selling us information that is not expensive, but jacking up the prices. They are selling us, they are charging us for our sovereignty, charging us for freedom and liberation. And that's an atrocity. That's a war crime against humanity, against Black people. If you want to talk about crimes or injustices, and of course, we're not talking about taking anybody into any white supremacist meeting halls or lynch mob squares. We're talking about the general injustice that is being done to our people, that of course needs to be halted. So if you find that there are Black bourgeoisie, you need to find, of course, what it is that they're doing that is such an injustice, and provide that information or that service for free, for I want, really, you should be able to build your community. You really should have a community where you can provide your people this information at the end of the day. It shouldn't just be something where you can just provide for free, give them a link here or there. You should actually have a working community. Otherwise, for a lot of you, you really kind of can't complain about the people that are exploiting you. That is what the Black bourgeoisie does. They exploit the people who are not as knowledgeable, who are not as greedy, who are not as affiliated with other people who may further push them along into the middle class of white supremacy, and who are clearly striving to become wealthier and greedier. So a community is really the only defense that you have against the Black bourgeoisie and against white supremacy. So if you're not part of a Black community, if you're not part of a community, you can pretty much call it whatever you want, because I know some of you will be like, oh, we're not Black or whatever. But I've been amongst some other people. They don't have a community. I couldn't go and fellowship to any degree with them. It was just a class here, a class there, a seminar, a meeting, a weekend gathering, a event. Black supremacy, Black nationalism is not an event. The revolution is not a one-day event. It's not a one-week event. And this is the problem with a lot of people. They look at Black revolution, they look at Black nationalism, and they look at Black supremacy as either a resort, a rehab home, or a rehab type of thing. They look at Black supremacy as a vacation, as an experiment, a retreat out in the middle of off the gridness land. It's not a retreat in the middle of off the gridness land. It's not a vacation. And I've said this several times before. So some of you will have to really, really come to grips with yourselves and with your more African indigenous self, where your mind is clear and your body is clear and you've left your baggage behind. Black supremacy is not somewhere to come with your white supremacy baggage. It cannot fit through the door. So the bourgeoisie just got too much shit. I'm sorry. Your $5,000 belts and shoes and pants and clothes and panties and all that shit, it's just not going to fit. But for those of you who are on the journey to King Nobleism, consider just how great of a task it is to do away with Black bourgeoisieism, Black bourgeoisie worship. That's what a lot of you are doing, is worshiping the Black conscious bourgeoisie. You see them in their failed attempts at unification. They're not even unified with themselves, only for the dollar bill. Now imagine if you took that money away from them, and just how unified would they be? You see how they're trying to bring in violence and that type of hatred for each other, even with the money that they're making. So you could just imagine without that type of money, just how vicious and ferocious they would be. So as a Black supremacist, you yourself will have to do better. If you can do better than them, you will have to do better. That's really the only option. So even for a lot of you who speak against them, you really have to put your best foot forward and not just be a slave in this system of white supremacy, or a sheep, or a broke person, or these things that the Black bourgeoisie condescend you with. But you will actually have to elevate and liberate yourself even above those terms and labels and definitions, and come together as a people for true Black liberation and Black nationalism and Black supremacy. Join the website kingnobleuncensored.com and join the website www.kingnobleBlackrulership.com. Peace.